Clyde Harden, your next level coach. I'm here to take you from your frustration to your destination by helping you admit that you're not where you want to be and accept where you should be and do the work that's going to take you to do to get you to where you want to be. Listen, I know for a fact that this is maybe not a popular subject, because a lot of us got to admit, for us to be popular, you have to admit that you're not where you want to be, that you're not successful as you want to be. And listen, for me, that wasn't hard. I knew in my heart that there were some things that I wasn't doing that I wanted to do, and I had to admit that I needed help. And so I got help. God blessed me to have a great infrastructure. I tell people all the time, I had 3 people in my life, and I suggest everyone get a team. My wife taught a subject not too long ago, and she taught a lesson dealing with, the guy who got let down through the roof, and he had a team with him, and we need a team. And luckily, God blessed me with, I tell people all the time, I had an uncle in the ministry, a brother in the ministry, and a father in the ministry. My uncle is a guy who gave me advice. My brother, he gave me, someone to bleed on, and my father gave me someone to cry on. So with me having that help and a lot of different resources and things God blessed me with, it made me feel obligated to come out to you and give you what I'm giving you now. So I hope you're being blessed by it. Hope that you are able to grow from it. But listen, for those who are online right now, I want you to kind of get your pen and paper, follow along with me. This is Q&A. I won't do this every week. I'm going to do this as needed, as different topics come in my heart. Ultimately, I made a shift. A lot of my videos, I'm going to give you alerts that my video is going to be on YouTube, but a lot of my videos are not going to be on YouTube. So if you want to catch those videos, I want you to go to YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube page. Listen, it's hot. I'm here right out of Team Harden Studios, and so it's a little hot at my home. This is where a lot of the, God put our hearts to do a lot of our work. My wife do a lot of her videos here, so I'm relaxed in my clothes. So I'm hoping you're okay with me being relaxed. But listen, I hope you go out and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to put a lot of my videos there. All the videos are actually going to be there. Give you a chance to actually follow along with that channel, and you can watch each video in order as needed. But listen, tonight I want to kind of cover a different topic. Even though I'm here for Q&A, if you have any questions, feel free to send them in there. I'm going to watch my iPad, so if you have a question, I'm going to try to catch it there. But listen, about a week ago, I had the opportunity to talk with a pastor, a great friend of mine, and he said something that day that kind of touched my heart. And when he said what he said, it led me to know that I need to come and share this with my next level thinkers. You're going to see me refer to you a lot as next level thinkers. That means that I always tell you, you're holy, humble, and hungry. Holy enough to listen to God, humble enough to listen to a man who's been there, and hungry enough to want more. And if you're hungry enough to want more, that means that you're a next level thinker. So to all my next level thinkers, I feel as though what I share with him, or what came to my heart when I talked to him, I definitely need to share with you. So I hope that you watch this video. I hope that it blesses you and helps you as much as it helped me. But he made mention to me that he was in a place where his family had came to him and kind of cornered him, or should I say attacked him, for lack of better words. And you got to excuse me, I'm sweating. Listen, I've been working out, I just got through working out, and so this is my gear down time. So I hope you can watch me as I sweat a little bit here. But whenever he came and he shared these things with me, he told me his family had cornered him, his wife and his child, and they was telling him that, look here, you have been spending too much time in ministry, you have been doing too much for ministry. And listen, like I always say, this is not just directed to those who are in ministry, but he said, you've been doing too much in ministry and you're disconnected at home. And he was immediately defensive, like most of us are. I've been in that same situation. He was very defensive, and he wanted them to understand, this is what I do, and if you understand what I do, this is my heart, and I'm doing this for God. And you should understand that, I carry around the burden of the church, I carry around the burden of the world everywhere I go. And immediately I wanted to kind of say some things to him, but I didn't. Everyone is not ready for correction all the time. Sometimes people don't care what you know, like I always tell you, until you know how much you care. And so if they don't actually know how much you care, it can come off as if you're attacking them. But he later did ask me my advice. And listen, this is what I want to share with you. I want you to understand that for you to be successful in your organization, for you to be successful in ministry, if you have a business, if you're a pastor, if you're a first lady, no matter what you're doing, for you to be successful, you need to learn how to live life in the 4 quadrants of life. You may have seen my my block diagram and my flyer, and it's very important. Those quadrants changed my life. I got a chance to learn those quadrants by reading a book. I want you to get a chance. If you're a leader, you need to be a reader. If you're a leader, you need to be a reader. You need to be able to go out and read other material of people who have been more successful and able to gather wisdom over the years. So I want you to get this book. This book is titled The Emotionally Healthy Leader. The Emotionally Healthy Leader. I don't have the author written down. I do apologize, but I do my best to remember to put this book title and author in the comments of this section. But it's called The Emotionally Healthy Leader. This book taught me how to be not just a great leader, but how to be healthy. A few years ago, I asked all my leaders to be a few things. I asked them to be number one, holy, humble, hungry, but I threw a fourth one in there, and I asked them to be healthy. You can come so engulfed in ministry, you come so engulfed in pleasing God, sometimes even pleasing the church, to where you're not healthy. You can move around and become fatigued and even burnt out. So let's talk about this. We need to learn how to live in the 4 quadrants of life. I promise you, what I'm going to teach you here is going to kind of change your perspective on ministry or even business. So I want you to listen to me very closely. The 4 quadrants of life is number 1, God. If you look at the quadrants you see on there, you see number 1, the first quadrant is God. The second quadrant is family. The third quadrant is work. And the fourth is rest. So number 1, you must learn how to serve God. Number 2, you must learn how to serve family. And number 3, you must know how to serve your job. And fourthly, you must learn how to rest. If you're going to be successful in ministry, if you're going to be successful in business, any type of work, you need to learn how to become successful at balancing and living life in these 4 quadrants. Now, when I first introduced this concept to my church, and most church people, and this may not be the case for you, but most church people don't have a problem living life in 3 quadrants. We don't have a problem living life in family. We don't have a problem living life in work. We don't have a problem living life in rest. Some people rest too much, more than they spend time with family. Some people spend time with family more than they want to work or rest. Some people work more than they spend time with family or rest. But most people, pastors, we have to challenge people to live life, not just work, rest, and family, but also in God. And most of us find ourselves utilizing church as a place where we serve God. And there's no problem with that. Sometimes you got to serve church until you learn how to serve God on a higher level. So as a pastor, our job is to push them not just to spend time with family, not just spend time with work, not just spend time resting. I also must learn how to teach them to spend time with God. But for most of the people on this line, you're probably the opposite. You're probably the one who spends so much time with God, and I'm going to break this down, that you don't find time with family. You spend so much time with God, you don't find time to rest. You spend so much time with God. I have this problem all the time where you don't find time to even work. So I'm going to teach you right now, how do you live life in this balance? We're going to talk about this balance. So number 1, you must learn how to spend time with God. God comes first. God comes first. And the problem is we don't truly know how to spend time with God. A lot of people don't. We think spending time with God is praying. We think, serving God. We don't know how to serve God. We think serving God is praying. We think serving God is, fasting. We think serving God is getting up in the morning studying the Word of God. That's not really serving God. That's more of some disciplines we can talk about in the future to help build your spirituality. Praying, fasting, studying are disciplines that build your spiritual part to where you can hear God better so you can serve Him. But to serve God, this is totally different. This is different than family. This is different than work. This is different than rest. To serve God, the only way that you're able to serve God truly, Romans 12:2 tells us, it says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is a reasonable act of service or worship. So the way we serve God is through our worship or through our service. So once again, let's look at that scripture. I beseech you therefore, brethren, under the mercies of God, out of everything God has done for you, God has blessed you, God has given you cars, God has given you houses, God has given you peace, God has given you salvation, God has given you family, God has given you work, God has given you everything else. Since God has given you all these things, I beseech you therefore, brethren, under the mercies of God, everything God has given you that you deserve, that you present your body, a living sacrifice. God, use me to do whatever you want me to do. So if you're going to live life in that first quadrant, you got to make sure you save some time to serve God. You cannot work so much. You cannot study so much. You cannot pray so much. You cannot spend time with family so much. You can't rest so much to where you can't find time to serve God. Well, I'm going to let the family go to church. I'm going to let the family go and serve. But I got to make sure I pay the bills. I got this business. Or, I'm going to spend so much time studying. I'm going to let the church serve, but you don't serve. You must learn how to serve God. And the way you serve God, God may have you go out and pray for people. God may have you do outreach. God may have you serve in the church, in a ministry in the church. Maybe you're a ministry leader, pastor, youth pastor. I try to get every person in the church to serve in a ministry. This is a way that we all learn how to serve God. So this is one quadrant. This is one quadrant and one quadrant only. And what we end up doing is a lot of times us as leaders, ministry leaders, those who are on this page, ministry leaders, we end up spending more time. We take this quadrant here and we spread it over to this quadrant until we can't spend time with family because we're so busy serving God. We can't work. And I have this problem. A lot of times I go out to my truck and when I'm at work and I'm trying to figure out how to do ministry, and sometimes I sneak out to my truck to kind of think some things out. I do, because ministry is in my heart all the time. And a lot of times we spend up all night and we don't rest. So we look at this quadrant: first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. I'm a very visual type of person. And so we take this first quadrant and it seeps over into our family time. This first quadrant seeps over into our work time. And this first quadrant seeps over into our rest time. And we're thinking that we're doing great. Shameless plug here. Me and my wife are releasing our first book together titled The Team Harden Marriage Survival Guide. And I talk about how early on in my marriage, I thought that I was doing the right thing. I was working, I was coming home, and I was doing everything I thought I should do. But I end up upsetting my wife because I was spending so much time in that first quadrant to my wife. She thought to herself that he must be, cheating on me because he didn't have time for me. And in a sense, I was cheating on her with God. God says you must take care of your house and before you take care of the church. And I was so busy on serving God and doing what I thought that I was supposed to do as a man, so I was neglecting my family. That's what Paul says. It's better to stay unmarried. If you're unmarried, you didn't have that balance of trying to spend time with family, that you can use God and a lot more. You can serve God a whole lot more than you would if you didn't have a family. But if you have a family, you know for a fact you have children, you need to spend time in that first quadrant less than usual if you're taking up your all three other quadrants. Okay, so number one, write that down. That if I'm gonna live a balanced life, I must learn how to serve God. I hope you're on. I don't know who's on with me right now. I don't see any response. If you watch it later, it doesn't bother me. God laid in my heart to shoot this information out there, so I'm gonna give it to you. The second quadrant that you must learn how to live in. And so you leave the serving quadrant, you leave serving God, and you come over here to the second quadrant and serving family. And listen, serving God and serving family isn't the same thing. Serving God and serving family is two different things. You must learn how to serve your family. Your family, if you have a wife, you must learn how to serve your wife. You have your children, you must know how to serve your children. You can't become so engulfed in ministry. Listen, you want to take your ministry to the next level, don't do it at the cost of your family. I don't care how large your ministry get. I don't care how many members you get. I don't care if you're talking about business, you have your ministry as a business. I don't care how large it is. I talked to a young man one day, and he was telling me, look here, man, I got this going, I got that going, I got this going, I got that going. And he said, but yet my marriage is falling apart, but I got all this going. And he came to me for mentorship. And I told him, I say, you know what, I'm sorry, but I can't help you until you fix your marriage. Because if you don't fix your marriage now, you'll build this great kingdom, but it all come crumbling down because the very support system that you thought you had in your wife won't be there. The very support system you thought you had in your children won't be there. Because when ministry go crazy, you need to be able to go home and spend time with family. I'm telling you right now, my hardest days, I come home and my wife embraced me, my children embraced me because I didn't neglect them for ministry. So listen, I'm gonna teach you real quick how to spend time in the second quadrant. There's a great book titled His Needs, Her Needs. It's a great book, and it kind of focuses mainly on your wife. But I'm going to kind of sum all that up in a couple of different words to help you maximize your marriage, maximize your family time. And so, but if you're going to serve your family, you must meet their needs. It's not coming in and showing up and saying, I'm here, I've done my part, I cut the yard, I washed the clothes, I cooked the food, and I'm gone. These are things you're supposed to do. I like in the Bible, I can't remember who said it, but it talks about this here. It says, should the master thank the servant for doing what he's supposed to do? And he comes back and says, I throw not. These are things you're supposed to do. Listen, this is something you're obligated to do. You're obligated to cook. You're obligated to clean. You're obligated to, make sure the yard cut. As a father, as a husband, as a wife, some things you're obligated to do. Don't try to pawn the things you're obligated off to your children, the things you're obligated to do off to your children, to your wife, or to your husband, and try to pawn it off and then say, hey, I spent time with y'all, let me go back to ministry now. No, that's not the case. If you have one child, 2 children, 3 children, a wife, you must meet all their needs in your time. So when my family know, after reading this book titled The Emotionally Healthy Leader, my children know that one thing we used to try to do Mondays. We say Mondays are family days. That doesn't work because I'm trying to get back to work and my mind's getting swinging after being at church on Sunday. I got to go back to work on Monday. So Monday, we used to say it was a family day where it's quiet time. We don't do ministry, but that didn't work. After reading this book, The Emotionally Healthy Leader, we decided to make Friday from 6 p.m. Friday until 6 p.m. Saturday, no ministry. From 6 p.m. Friday, 6 p.m. Saturday, we don't do anything. We may not do nothing as a family, but we're not going to do ministry. We're going to spend time together as a family, be around each other, cook, have a good time, play or whatever, but that's my family time. And listen, I must meet 3 needs. I must meet these needs. Now, not just 3 needs, it's multiple needs, but I'm going to teach you. If you're going to make sure you live life in the second quadrant, for those who just jumping on, I got first quadrant and second quadrant. First quadrant is serving God. When you serve God, that means you're spending time, serving his people. Whatever he asks you to do, he may ask you to pray, he may ask you to, serve in church. However, whatever God is asking you to do, you're going to do that. But when I serve my family, I must meet their need. And their need usually comes in 3 forms. Whether it's children or wife, it comes in 3 forms. The first form, every child needs communication. They need you to communicate with them. Just coming in the house, washing clothes, washing dishes, doing things you want to, that's not going to cut it. If you're going to satisfy this second quadrant, you must learn how to communicate with your children, must learn how to communicate with your wife, must need to know how to communicate with your husband. And communication is 2 ways, not mono. It's not mono way. It's what the other word? I can't think of it. It's dialogue. It's not monologue. It's dialogue. You tell them some things, they tell you some things. You tell them what's wrong, they tell you what's right. You tell them what's right, they tell you what's wrong. You go back and forth and you communicate. You got to have true communication. And that's the only way you're going to find out what they need. You got to talk about what they need. And that's one thing I had to find my wife. I thought I was doing everything I was supposed to do. And I found out later that I wasn't. My wife she cared more about me laying in the bed and talking to her than she cared about me going to work every day. And so you got to talk to her. Your children need you to talk to them. How was your day today? Sit down and have dinner with them. How things going? Don't just get so caught up running, trying to start a ministry, trying to start a business, to where you don't sit down with your children, sit down with your wife, sit down with your husband, and talk to them. Sweetheart, how was your day today? Talk to them. And so that's the first need, is communication. The next thing, most family, like I say, go read the book, His Needs, Her Needs. There's a list of needs that you can work on. I'm kind of summing it all up in 3 different words. The next need your family need, whether it's child or wife, is compassion. This is something us as men have bad. We will listen to them, we'll communicate with them, but we don't emotionally connect with them. Compassion means I have passion about what you're talking about. I sympathize with you, I empathize with you. Don't just sit there and wait till she get to talking so you can go back to ministry. No, sit and get deeply engaged with her. I was really bad about this. I would listen to her, and I found my wife talking to her friends more than she talked to me. Listen, your wife need you. She needs you. If you want her to engage with you and everything, your husband need you. So have compassion in the communication. The third one, your family need. I'm going to kind of deviate a little bit from wife and husband and children here because this is something your children need, but not necessarily your wife or your husband need as far as a need, but correction. Your children need correction. If you hear me so far and you like what I'm saying, or you've been able to witness what I'm saying, give me a couple of hearts. Let me know I'm not here by myself. I can see them here come through. Give me a heart. Give me a thumbs up or something to let me know I am engaging with somebody here. But they need not just compassion, not just communication, but also children need correction. You don't know. Just to stop and say, you need to do this, you need to do that. And we think, well, we're fussing and they don't want to hear us fussing. But children love correction. They need it. Whether they like it or not, they need it. So you as a ministry leader, a spiritual leader, or someone who's involved in an organization, make sure you're able to give your children communication. Make sure you give them compassion and correction. Now, your wife or your husband, they need communication. They need compassion. But now your wife or your husband also need connection. Connection. And connection to a husband and connection to a wife may be different. But you need to maybe connect with them. Connect with them physically. I'm not going to go into a lot of details. Like I said, you go into his needs, her needs. But, your husband connection and the wife connection may be different. But think about this. We haven't talked about serving church. That was first quadrant. We're in the second quadrant. And it's work in the second quadrant. That's why balance in ministry is tough. But you must be able to say, hey, I'm going to connect with my wife. And I'm going to connect with her the way she needs me to connect with her. I'm going to connect with him the way he needs me to connect with him. So your wife may need you to connect with her by giving her a massage, or physical touch, or sitting talking and eating popcorn, watching a movie. Whatever way she needs you to connect with her to make her feel emotionally satisfied, you got to do that. And your husband may need you to connect with him, and that may be sexually satisfying him. But whatever way they need to be connected with, you got to do that to make sure that they are satisfied emotionally, physically, and spiritually. You must do this. Number one, you must learn how to have communication. You must learn how to have compassion with your children. You must do correction. And with your spouse, you must do connection. So that's how you live life in the second quadrant. Let's drop down to the third quadrant. If you've been helped so far, give me some hearts. Give me some type of thing. I know we got males on. Give me some hearts. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're there. Let me know that you haven't left me. You're still with me. But listen. So let's talk about the third quadrant. The third quadrant is our work quadrant. In a perfect world, your first quadrant, man, it'd be great if that first quadrant lined up with the third quadrant. If when you were serving God, you was also working and able to pay the bills. I'm bivocational. I'm not like most people who do one thing and they go full-time ministry. Matter of fact, I hate to say it, I'm not just bivocational. I'm probably like quadruple vocational. I got so many things going on, but a lot of things I'm doing, I'm serving God. And listen, and they are like work, but I do have an 8 to 5 Monday through Friday with GE Healthcare, and it's work. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's work. And so you got to make sure. I'm gonna give you one word to satisfy this work quadrant, because in all that we do, whether it's on the work, whether it's for your children, whether it's for ministry, in all that you do it as if you do it unto the Lord. And so that quadrant needs your commitment. If you're going to be at work, be committed to work. If you got vacation, take vacation, do what you need to do. And as my job, I want to make sure my job can also look at me and say they're proud of me as being a man of God. They can look at me and say that while he was at work, he did his job. And if I ever leave and this job, I want the job to miss me because I was committed. So number one, first quadrant, we serve God. We serve God by serving him, by serving his people. Second quadrant, we served our family. We made sure that we was committed, we communicated, and we connected, or we corrected. Third quadrant, work. We were committed to work. I did my job. Let's go to the fourth quadrant. Now, this is what's going to surprise you. Now, in the fourth quadrant, you're going to, what we call rest. You need rest. Now, listen. You can spend time with family on vacation. Vacation is not rest. I'm sorry, it's not. You can spend time with family in the backyard doing barbecue. That's serving family. I'm gonna let you know right now. Me going on vacation is not me. Not me resting. That's not rest. I gotta drive. I gotta do all those things. And listen to this here too. Now you can't serve God and serve your family at the same time. Now you can probably serve God and serve your family, but you can't say, "Well, I'm serving God and serving family because I'm out serving other things." I'm serving my family right now. Hopefully God appreciates how I'm serving my family. But while I'm serving my family, I'm not thinking about God. God say, take care of the family before you take care of church. Now, I'm not going to disrespect God while I'm serving my family. I'm going to take care of my family. But this is not about serving God. Now, honoring God is always on my mind. I'm honoring God while I'm resting. I'm honoring God in everything that I do. But serving and honoring are different things. I'm not going to lose my integrity. I'm not going to, drink, smoke, cuss, do things that's not going to honor God. Honoring God and serving God are two different things. You can honor God in all four quadrants, but you don't serve God in all four quadrants. You serve God in the first quadrant. And you make sure that you utilize your serving time wisely, utilize your family time wisely, utilize your work time wisely. When I'm at work, I'm not serving God. I'm keeping my quality of life. I make sure I honor God while I'm working, but I'm not serving God right now. I'm not doing ministry. And while I'm resting, listen to this here. While I'm resting, I'm not serving God. While I'm resting, I'm not serving family. When I'm resting, I'm not serving work. Many of us don't know that we can rest outside of sleep. How do you do that, Pastor Harden? Well, what I do in my resting quadrant is when I do what I call sabbatical. This book taught me about delighting in the Sabbath. Well, this time is away. I disconnect. As a woman of God, as a man of God, you need to back away and disconnect sometimes and say, you know what? I'm not going to spend time with family right now. I'm not going to spend time at work right now. I'm not going to spend time serving God right now. I'm going to honor God in this here. And this may even be a time where you go into a long, deep fast. You go off to yourself and you're trying to connect with God. You're trying to connect with yourself spiritually. You're trying to find out some time. I never forget one time I got a chance to do this to the maximum. My wife blessed me and I was able to go to a secluded area for 3 days. I locked myself in a room. I didn't leave. I had food. I had drink. I had everything I need. And I spent 3 days with God. I just went in and I rested my mind. I rested my heart. I rested my soul and said, you know what? I need to spend this time with God. I need to spend this time rejuvenating. Once again, I wasn't serving. I was honoring God. I was connecting with God, but I wasn't serving. I wasn't serving family. During this time, I didn't think about children. I didn't think about my wife. I thought about me and God. And I'm trying to spend time making sure I'm good. I'm all right. And I definitely wasn't working. No phone. No phone at all. So listen, if we're going to be the greatest leader we can be, we need to learn how to live life in all 4 quadrants. We got to. If you don't learn to live life in all 4 quadrants, you're going to suffer. Your family going to suffer. Your work's going to suffer. Ministry's going to suffer. And so when I heard the pastor tell me that, my family needs to understand that this is who I am. No, your family don't need to understand that. You need to understand that you signed up for, a life with children. You signed up for a life with a wife. You signed up for a life with ministry. You signed up for a life that had work. And you signed up for a life that has you in it. And you need to learn how to balance all 4 of them. I pray this lesson has been a blessing to your life. I pray you share it with as many people you can share it with. Because I feel as though the kingdom is suffering because we have too many people so heavenly minded. They're no earthly good. God didn't put us in heaven yet. So we got to take care of what God gives us on earth until we get to heaven. Are there any questions? I don't see any questions here. I don't know who all we have online right now. Are there any questions at all? I'm going to give it a second before I jump off. I pray it's been a blessing to you. I pray you're able to utilize it for the kingdom of God. I hope you're able to utilize it for your family. And once again, listen, if you're following me, feel free to email me. My email is clydehardenjr@gmail.com. Go to my website. If you haven't downloaded my free video yet, listen, I'm going to be sending out a lot of content here pretty soon. A lot of things, information. What if I'm teaching on something like job descriptions, or if I'm teaching on something about, lesson plans, sermons, I may send these things to you, so I need you to go download the free video on my website at www.clydehardenjr.com. And this is where you get to the top. You see my free video, How to Make Your Ministry a Success Overnight. This adds you to my email list. This is why I'm pushing that video so hard. Also, if you see something in this group that you think can help somebody, share it with somebody. Let them know that I'm here to help everybody out. Listen, I thank you once again for being here with me. God bless you. I'm your next level coach, taking you from your frustration to your destination by helping you admit that you're not where you want to be.